Hello everyone and welcome back for the last time to Batmania. I am Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
Today Eric and I are going to look at, for the very first time, but doing a Batmania for the very last time, Batman Gotham by Gaslight, a movie that I was always pulling for, hoping would get adapted into one of these, and I'm really excited to finally look at it. This is going to be a blind commentary. Eric and I, once again, have not looked at this at all. It's going to be just like the Scooby-Doo was, except I expect us to talk less.
Yep.
But we'll see how that...
It's closer to a reaction video than it is a genuine commentary.
Yeah, and I do the Mufasa thing whenever anybody says reaction video. Like, I don't really want to make one of those, but I wasn't sure how else to handle this one, and it'll be fun to, hopefully, for folks to see our initial...
Well, and you just reread the comics, so you can fill in,
I'll be able to talk about that quite a bit.
From that.
Yeah.
But you've never read the sequel, right?
No, I haven't.
The Master of the Future? I think is what it's called, something of the future.
I don't know how far after that that happens.
It's a couple of years. I think it's the same writer, but Mignola has left DC at that point, I think.
Okay.
Because Mignola doesn't draw it.
So, yeah, I don't know if this adapts some of that also, because there's not... It's weird. This is a perfect thing to adapt because it's so short, but you would have to expound on it because it's really short. And honestly, I think it's too short, and I think there's plenty you could do to expound on it. It's a perfect thing for adaptation because there's a lot of things you can do to improve on it, but it's already really cool the way it is. So I'm really excited about this.
I like that this is kind of the first one of these we're doing because it was the first Elseworlds.
Yeah.
I like that says A Tale of the Batman. That's a fun... The original comic.
Oh, yeah.
Says A Tale of the Batman, because Elseworld doesn't exist yet. It's retroactively the first Elseworld story.
That's right, and I think the very next thing that was like that was kind of, imaginary stories was called Elseworlds.
That's a fun title, A Tale of the Batman. I like that.
This is doing really well. People are apparently really liking it.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that this is going to be the first of many of these, because I think a lot of Elseworlds is really ripe for adaptation.
Yeah.
And for these animated things. So anyway, this is going to be kind of a bittersweet thing for us, because we're finally going to be finished with Batmania, and tune in at the end of the show, stick around, because after the credits, I'll go ahead and just say right away, this will be our after the credits sequence. You can see Eric talk about what we're going to do next year, what the next Mania is going to be. We don't have a title for it yet. So, because I can't think of anything that's not just really horribly cutesy.
Yeah.
So I can't say anything right now, but we'll reveal this at the end of the show. But we'll open that up for submissions, and people can help us figure out how to name it. Maybe that's what we'll do. But we'll be doing this again January of next year. So look forward to finding out at the end of this video what that's going to be. Eric, are you ready to jump right into this?
I'm ready to jump right in. I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
People say this is good. We will see.
We're just gonna blast full speed ahead. Here we go. If you want to watch it with us, get out your. We'll steam train. Just right ahead. Get out your DVD, your Blu-ray, your digital copy, however you want to watch it. Get it past all. This has all three.
Are trains an important part of the plot?
No, but it's just that period of time.
Okay.
Get it past all the menus. Get it to timestamp 0, and get ready to press play whenever I say. Now, I was just trying to think of something that was like period connected.
It should be noted that I've never read this comic, and I intentionally chose not to read before we watch this so that we would have a fresh pair of eyes and someone who knew the source material. I'll probably read it after.
Yeah, and that way we had one person who could just like fill in and talk when there wasn't really anything to say.
It's
maybe
weird because I'm a Mignola guy.
Yeah, it's weird that you never read it. I was shocked when you told me that.
Yeah.
I
don't think it was in trade for a long time. It is now, but I don't think it was for a while. Maybe I'm wrong.
Which is weird because I mean, like it's a really small volume. It's not a thing. I mean, like I guess you trade it.
Sequel.
Okay. I mean, I guess you'd want to trade it in that you'd want to re-release it somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I should read that sequel at some point.
It looks like it's the size of like Spawn Batman.
Yeah, that's about right. It's like 48 pages or something. It's real short. And I think again a little bit too truncated. But anyway. Let's go ahead and get into it. Get ready to press play. Whenever I say now, here we go, Eric.
One last time.
One last time. Everybody, please press play right now.
Do you remember the old Star Wars commercials that had that? Where it was like, it was for the last release of the VHSs.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Watch the original trilogy and they weren't kidding. That was it. That was the last time.
I expected a lot of bells in this soundtrack. We've already got that going on. Oh, I forgot Greenwood came back for this.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
Oh, and
Cool.
Jennifer Carpenter is
Is she
Catwoman.
going to be Catwoman? Yeah. And Catwoman's not in the book. There are references to different characters that we either like get a cameo for or they just kind of talk about. So I'm expecting Harvey Dent in this because he's in this book, but just for a minute. And he's really mean to Bruce Wayne. He's part of the prosecution.
This is how the book opens.
This is not how the book opens. So immediately, this animation is reminding me of the animated series. It kind of feels like what animated series might have done with this material.
More so than I would have thought.
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought they would have kind of reinvented the wheel on this.
Yeah.
So I guess it
basically
makes sense because the
opening
one
this
Bruce
with
Timm's involved with.
we're basically opening this with like an Orion slave girl dance.
Yep.
With Poison Ivy just right away.
And boy, she looks bored. Hey, that was kind of clever. Brian Augustine. I don't recognize that name.
Do they usually give you the original creators in the credits like that?
I don't think
That's
so.
classy, and I like that a lot.
I think maybe they do it with Dark Knight Returns.
I really like that Mignola's name is there. That's cool. And this doesn't look like straight up Mignola, but obviously you can see the influence. And we keep talking about this with these. Plenty of shadow work already.
Yep,
Looks
yep,
just like
lots
it
of
should.
So I assume she's going to get killed by Jack. Is she the one that gets killed by Jack in the book?
No. I wouldn't think. Well, I guess this would probably be a Poison Ivy without powers, right? So I guess it's just this period's version of Ivy, and she's not really Poison Ivy. So, but I'm with you. I'm assuming she gets murdered right away, or they'll subvert that and she actually somehow escapes or something.
Well, she's like a lady of the evening. Like
Yeah.
this is how all Jack the Ripper stories start.
Right, of course. No, he doesn't kill anyone, as far as I know, that we've ever heard of in the book. I think it's just kind of random women and.
Maybe they're all the actual historical women that
Well,
were murdered.
no, the idea is he's murdered everyone we know about, and then he goes to Gotham.
Oh, that makes sense.
He's been off the grid for a few years. It's like Zodiac Killer.
Okay.
I actually really like this because I kind of expected the peripheral Batman characters to kind of take over this book. That was where I had. So we have Dick and Jason right away.
And they call themselves the Outsiders. So I'm guessing that's Tim.
That's kind of cool. So it seems like the idea is let's just really expand on this material and cast everybody as characters that were in the Johnny Gobb. That's awesome! What? Johnny Gobb slipped on a banana peel. Oh, I can't believe they did. That's awesome! No big laws.
Jason's got red hair like he originally had in the comic,
That's really cool.
which he stopped
So-
having after Infinite Crisis. Or Crisis on Infinite.
That Batman theme is great. And so he's got pretty much exactly the costume he has in the book. This is striking me as what I would have expected this book would be in later Elseworlds. In that, again, you just take like the whole universe and try to adapt it to this period instead of just telling a real short and sweet story like the book does. And I love that we're having so much fun with that immediately. That's really exciting. I can't get over Johnny Gobbs, man. Did you see who wrote the script?
I didn't recognize his name.
Okay.
I want to say it was like something Krieg.
I love that lighting there. That's really cool. The yellow in the windows. No, this has got a lot of reference for what this book looks like.
Oh yeah, because it doesn't. Because obviously it's early Mignola, so it doesn't look like straight up like what I think of as Mignola.
Right. Yeah.
Because I was like, well, this doesn't really look like Mignola, but it doesn't look too far from that book.
No, look at this scene
like
here.
Yeah,
but it looks like this movie, and that's really cool. This book loves yellow. Bringing him back for Batman in this makes a lot of sense in my head.
Yeah. Hey,
Leslie Tompkins, yeah. This is so cool because it doesn't matter if you've read the book, but if you have, they can surprise you over and over again. We got some roof jumping in the 1800s. That's really cool. That's really bloody.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's actually much more bloody than when the guy blows his brains out in,
No, I'm
New
expecting
Frontier.
it to get a lot worse, or
'Cause
why
it's
is this
R.
R? And I still don't understand, and I'm not expecting to ever understand that, right? I'm not expecting to get to the end of this movie and be like, oh, that's why it's rated R.
Yeah, that's nothing compared to Suicide Squad.
No, and I would have expected them to show you all that. Like, yeah, they showed some blood splatter, but the rest of it was off screen. I'm not saying it was subtle either, but it's off screen. I mean, there's a lot of blood on the ground there, but... Huh. So is that guy gonna be the uncle in the book? And that's Harvey Dent. Now I'm hoping we don't try to like get everybody to where they would usually be in comics by the end of this. You know, I hope we don't like have to have a Robin, although they could win me over on that. It's cool. This whole thing is not in the book.
That seems kind of early for a World's Fair. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think so.
I don't know my history.
No, I don't think you're right about that.
There's a Zeppelin.
Yeah, I mean, this is real turn of the century stuff.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I always think of Jack the Ripper as more.
You're thinking
like,
this is a lot earlier than it is.
I always think it's more, I guess, 17th century.
Now, there's a thing in the book that I was really hoping we would get, and because we opened this with Batman, that's interesting, with Bruce already being Batman, we're probably not going to get it. So at the beginning of the book, he's at the tail end of his traveling around the world in order to be Batman, and the last person he studies with is Sigmund Freud. And I was really hoping we would get that in this movie, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So I'm also wondering how early Batman this is, or if he's already got some established ropes and stuff. So because we're diverting so much at the very beginning of this, the only thing so far that is in the book is it's this period and Jack the Ripper and the Batsuit, and that's it so far. And we're just introducing all these characters that you know from the comics. So I'm not expecting the mystery to be the same necessarily. I'm going into this having read this book several times, not totally sure I know who Jack the Ripper is because it's revealed.
Mm-hmm.
That is the mystery. They do tell us who it is. And in the book, it is... I won't tell you who it is, but in the book, it is directly connected to the death of the Waynes.
Oh, interesting.
What do you think of the look of this so far?
I think it looks good.
And I guess mostly I'm asking you about character designs. Like, do you mind that it's that face-wise it's as simplistic in Batman animated series as it is?
I mean, that matches Mignola's kind of style. I mean, Mignola worked on some of that stuff anyways. Not really like being familiar with the book, like it looks fine to me. It's not what I expect it to look like, but I think it looks good.
I mean, it's not horribly far away.
No, no. Nice Bullock. Did not realize that.
Interesting. Cool.
Then who's the guy next to him?
That wasn't Dent, was it?
No, because Dent's got the pencil thin mustache.
Okay. So the guy I thought that was is not who that is. Yeah, that's just the mayor.
Tolliver. That sounds familiar.
In the book, that does sound familiar. In the book, there's a different commissioner, and Gordon is a captain, I think. I really like Bruce's look in this. In the book, he's kind of just standard Bruce Wayne. I like that he's actually got kind of a more period haircut in this. Although now that I'm going back and looking at this, I guess it is a little bit more period than I was giving it credit for.
Tolliver is...
But I like the sideburns.
Someone that works in the government in the DC Universe.
Oh, okay.
He authorizes Task Force X. So I bet you he's just shown up in DCAU stuff and stuff. Like, I bet you that's a character that they've just used, and so we just recognize the name.
Sure.
I really like to look up Bruce
Well, yeah,
Wayne.
but he's the mayor, and so he'd be a government guy.
Yeah.
So. No, it sounds like that is a deliberate choice, yeah.
Well, I'm saying the reason I think we know that name is he probably shows up in DCAU stuff.
Okay.
And we just recognize the name. But I really like the chops on Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Looks good.
That's really pretty.
Yeah, it's gorgeous water.
Okay, so we're like 10 minutes in. None of this is in the book. Like, I'm really excited about this. They're going their own way entirely. I mean, and they may cross in and out of stuff that's in the book because they have 75 minutes to do what I think you could do in about a half-hour episode.
Mm-hmm.
And again, my main criticism of this is I think it could have been expounded upon a lot. So I feel like I'm maybe looking at what I always wanted from this material. Period dialogue is all really good so far.
Yeah, they referred to Hugo Strange as an alienist and didn't stop to explain what that meant, and that was nice.
Oh, that's cool. I missed that.
Oh, so that's Gordon.
That's Gordon.
Okay, so the other guy was Bullock. I thought that was...
I expected everybody on that cart to start laughing when he said that. Is it blah, 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 ah, ah, ah. They didn't do that. I kind of thought that they would do that. Do we know, because I can't remember from the previous, do we know if the Joker is in this?
I don't remember.
He's only referenced in the book. But they tell you how he got his white face.
How'd he get it?
So he was... I'm trying to remember exactly what it is. So he, like, poisoned, his victims, with something akin to, the Joker toxin. And they tell you actually exactly what it is, but he gives himself, like, too much of a dose of it when he's about to get caught, and instead of killing him, it turns him into the Joker. And this is a universe, at least in the book, where all the crazies are there before Batman is.
Okay.
Yeah. So what he would do is he would murder. He would get married to rich old ladies, and then he would murder them and keep their money. And he poisoned them with strychnine, and then he would, and then he got caught, and then he tried to poison himself, and instead of dying, it turns him into Joker, and he looks like that.
Oh, that's cool.
And Gordon says, "Happy looking Jasper." Gordon in the book is like, Or is it Gordon? I'm just making sure that... Yeah, it is Gordon. He smiles a lot in the book and looks a lot like Teddy Roosevelt. And I think I didn't recognize him right away because he wasn't smiling a lot, so I don't think he looks quite as much like Teddy Roosevelt in this. We'll see. Maybe he'll do that big giant smile and then...
She looks kind of like Zatanna.
A little bit, yeah.
Which isn't really what she looks like on the cover of the DVD. Unless that's her Catwoman costume?
I'm assuming it is, yeah. So I guess this is going to be what I sort of expected from Pamela. Because I kind of thought maybe like Pamela wouldn't get killed by Jack the Ripper. And obviously we're not going to kill her right away.
Yeah, she's on the cover of the box. That'd be a real surprise.
That's great. I like how mysterious we're playing Jack the Ripper, and he looks really scary. This is the kind of stuff they should have been doing at the beginning of this line, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
where has this movie been?
Yeah.
I mean, still a fair bit of blood, but I'm not sure it needed to be R yet. Is it R for gruesome hanging pigs?
I mean, again, Assault on Arkham exists. Like,
that's our litmus test for everything. If
I
that
have a
gets
really hard time
PG-13
believing anything in this is going to be violent enough, or more violent than Assault on Arkham.
Now, it might annoy some people when I say this, and I don't mean, I don't mean to say something that will sound like anti-female empowerment or something. But when, but like Jack the Ripper needs to be kind of hard to take on, I would think, and so I kind of like that Catwoman's not able to totally take him just by herself.
You almost got murdered.
And of course, in the 1800s especially, Batman would have a very chivalrous attitude. Oh, he just immediately went after somebody else. Wow. He was like, well, if I... Oh, okay, it's a dream. Because that would have been hilarious.
It does seem like we are treating it not like you said in the book, that like this is an alternate history, but this is where Jack the Ripper is.
Yeah.
Because they said that he sent a thing to the Gotham Gazette and said his name was Jack.
Well, no, he
talks
does.
About, like,
no, he does that at the beginning of the book.
Okay.
But it's after all of his European murders. It's just he's done with Europe and now he's got.
But they haven't made any mention of like we think he might be the guy from. Hey, Mark Waid was the editor.
Interesting. Wow, I didn't know that. And this is in '89. I always think of Wade is younger than that, but I know he did a lot of stuff in the '90s. I just like. I always forget how long he's been around doing stuff.
Yeah, I think him and Kurt Busiek both are editors in the '80s.
Some real Nolan stings here. Totally different first meeting for them.
I will say...
He goes to Jim as Bruce Wayne first in the book. They are playing this like Batman has been around for a while. I'm liking this take a lot, actually. Just this already established world. And it makes me kind of want... This immediately makes me go, oh, you could just do like a whole ongoing in this world. Like, that'd be really cool. I'm sorry, what was that?
I hate his eyes on the mask. I don't like how that looks at all.
This is what it looks like in the book.
Okay, I don't like it. It looks bad.
Why does it look bad? It's not what we're used to. I think it makes sense for that period.
I don't know, it's so wide and it sits kind of weird.
I like it because it's awkward.
It looks like there's supposed to be goggles there. It doesn't look as bad from the sides.
Yeah, I really like that he's not thinking about it. Like, that's why I like that look. Where it's serviceable and it looks good in the shadows, and it's a world without comic books and without superheroes, and so I like that it looks less like a superhero costume.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
I don't even necessarily dislike the idea of it. I just don't think it looks good. I'm not sure what else I would do.
I also grew up with this book, so I'm just used to what that looks like.
But is that what it... Like, does it look exactly like that in the book?
Yeah, no, I mean, to be fair, like, we only get so many good shots of it not in shadow. Because he's in shadow a lot. Like, much of the time when you see him, it's like this.
Yeah.
But I'll try to find a good shot of it.
But, like, it's not even, like... I don't have a problem with the idea, I just don't think it looks good. Like, I feel like you could have designed it slightly differently and gotten the same idea across, but it's... I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they're not quite as wide in the book.
Yeah, see, I don't mind this at all. Like, they're really big.
Yeah, I really don't mind it, but that's alright.
Well, at least he's well spoken.
Yeah, and that's always been a thing with Jack the Ripper. In the book, it's kind of a lot of time passes. It's like a scene and then a bunch of time passes, and then a scene and a bunch of time passes, and it's really cool seeing this unfolding in a standard dramatic fashion.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if that's in the book, but that's a big thing with Jack the Ripper theories, is whether he's an uneducated man trying to look sophisticated, or if he's an educated man trying to look dumb.
Interesting. Oh, he's gonna have a carriage Batmobile. This feels like a thing that could only be made by people who have done a bunch of different versions of Batman.
You think so?
Yeah. Because they're looking at all the different things they've played with over and over and over again and trying to come up with fresh ways to make that interesting in this time period. And there's the Monarch Theatre. This is really cool. Again, none of these references are in the book.
So is that Selena?
I'm not sure yet. I was going to ask you if you could tell.
Well, and I don't know what Jennifer Carpenter sounds like when she sings, so...
Yeah. They've really been into musical numbers lately.
Yeah. I'm not saying this is bad, but again, I'm not sure we need actually as much as we're showing. This usually is how we traditionally open a scene, and then we go to whatever's important about the scene.
Sure, but you don't want to jump the gun and make that case until you know what the song's about and what the ultimate unfolding of the scene is going to be. I mean, I'm with you, like, it does feel like maybe it's going on too long, but I might not feel that way when I have it all together. Wow.
Oh, it's Gilda.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is her.
Yeah, I don't think we need as much of the song as we got.
And that's a thing we did.
But she's got a good singing voice.
Yeah, but no, she really does. But the whole wild animal thing is playing with the rest of the scene, so I like that it's at least relevant. But him going after Selena is something we just did with the Telltale Batman game.
That's true.
I don't know if that's the only time we've ever done that, but I can't think of a lot of Selena and Harvey Bruce love triangles.
Yeah.
That seemed like a thing that was new to me in that game. So like, they may be riffing or you know playing with like recent things with this too. I mean, this is so far really really cool. Some really nice gothic string stuff in the score right there. You're right. It does feel like this might be like the first time he's turned up, because they're analyzing this as if people haven't analyzed it before.
Mm. But it also seems like something that you maybe naturally would simplify in an adaptation.
I think I like that. Well, but again, it's like everything about this is not simplifying the material, but like expounding on it, and making it more complex. And I'm not saying that's a problem. It just this feels more heightened. It maybe kind of makes more sense to start it that way. Especially I like reversing this if that's what they're doing, where Bruce has been around for a while. Or Batman's been around, but Jack is just now showing up. Because in the book, it's Jack's been around for a long time, and that's actually Batman's first mission.
Oh,
what is that?
That's
Dionysus Club?
Well, I know it from there's a.
Boy, I feel like I'm taking a test I didn't study for with this movie. This is really cool.
So there's a writer named Kim Newman, and Dionysus Club is something that's shared in all of his novels, and one of his big novels is Anno Dracula, which is a world where Dracula marries the Queen of England. And it's Jack the Ripper in an alternate history where vampires are part of.
So that's why that's referenced here. So they're not just referencing Batman stuff.
Well, it's possible the Dionysus Club is something from Victorian times I don't know about, but that's where I know it from, and it's also a Jack the Ripper story, so that feels like maybe that's a fun little nod. I don't know for sure.
Or maybe he used it because it was connected to Jack the Ripper in the first place. That's really interesting.
Well, I don't think it would be that because it shows up in his other stories before he does Jack.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. I can look up real quick.
I was expecting some kind of Dracula reference, especially given some of the score, because it's got some of that kind of classic vampire movie stuff that we were talking about with Batman versus Dracula. So some of this does feel like that Universal Monster stuff in the score, but it's not all like that. And I think the different sounds are blending pretty well. There's some really modern, standard Batman orchestral stuff mixed in with the more period stuff. I feel like if Shirley Walker did the score, it would all be period.
No, that's the Diogenes Club?
Oh,
so
weird.
That's something different.
Okay, but you didn't look up the actual thing it was?
I couldn't remember how it was spelled.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't mean to focus on this too much, but... Okay. I feel like I should have known that. That is an Arthur Conan Doyle thing. That's a gentleman's club in Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I also should have known that. But I jumped to...
I'm glad we looked it up, or we would have had 6,000 comments about that. I'm digging on the deliberate pacing of this, Eric.
Yeah.
Like, this feels paced like a major release to me.
Yeah, we'll see how it ends up in the third act.
Of course. And I like how it's handling all the major issues of the time. The religious stuff we've gotten so far, and the gender stuff.
That's not how Jack traditionally works. He specifically, like, only goes after prostitutes, like, on the street. Like, he's in a building?
Yeah.
Attacking a nun? That's...
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing.
I mean, I guess since he's not coming from England, you don't actually have to adhere to his traditional killing pattern, but...
Yeah, why... Oh, he just murdered Leslie Tompkins.
Yeah.
Leslie Tompkins is a nun. Makes a lot of sense.
No, it makes a lot of
sense.
I
love that. A lot of the choices in this are pretty inspired, I think, so far. This does not watch like a thing, at least so far, that was made because a bunch of people asked for it. It was like they really wanted to make this. It's watching like it was on the list. Well, I don't know why this didn't come out 5-10 years ago.
Well, and that makes sense because no one was really asking for this. Not that like people wouldn't have wanted it.
That's not true. I don't know that there was like a lot of big clamor, but at least in our circles, this came up on lists all the time of things people wish they would adapt. And I don't think it's just our channel, and because I had mentioned it. Mm-hmm. I've seen that in other places on the net and stuff. And remember, there was almost a video game.
There was almost a video game, you're right.
Like, it's been on people's mind. I think we're going to see a lot more Elseworld stuff after this.
I hope so.
And I would expect them to try to beat live action to Red Son.
If they're allowed to, yeah.
If they're allowed to. I would think that would be the next one they would go after.
I also wouldn't be surprised if we did the Batman Dracula stuff.
That would be great. Although they got to be careful because there's already a really good Batman Dracula movie.
Yeah, but that would also be kind of period. That book's weird because it's like it's modern kind of Victorian.
And they could go all the way because they could do a PG-13 or R thing.
Well, and they also would have, because that uses other characters. That's got like a Joker and a Two-Face and a Catwoman and.
He's doing detective stuff and forensic stuff. In the book, he is studying, as far as we know, mostly with like philosophers and scientists and thinkers before it's martial artists. Well, I don't know if he does some of that stuff, but
and forensics is really new.
Yeah,
because I think when Jack the Ripper shows up, we're like only a couple of decades into having policemen, period, or something like that. Not policemen, but investigators, like criminal investigators.
Okay. That are like looking at evidence through a microscope.
Yeah. Putting clues together. Not just running around saying people are witches and then murdering them.
I'd also like to see, and I've said this before, but I'd also like to see speeding bullets happen.
I was looking at that the other day.
That's another really short book that could be expounded upon that you could do more with. And maybe not end it with, spoiler alert, but that book is about Clark Kent being raised as Bruce Wayne, and he's Batman with superpowers, but then throughout it he ends up becoming kind of a perfect blend of Batman and Superman's ideals, and so at the end of it he's Superman with, or he's Batman with the Superman crest, but he's got more of like a Superman suit by the end. And maybe in a movie you wouldn't end it there. Maybe you'd go a little bit farther.
It's Hugo Strange, right? Like he's Jack the Ripper.
Surely not. Surely not. But I could see Hugo Strange getting fascinated with Jack the Ripper and dressing up like him.
Yep. The Nail would also be a good Elseworld story to do.
So, when I tell you this, you're even more likely to immediately know who it is in the book when you finally read the book.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a completely different mystery.
Okay.
It's a completely different mystery. Because the character who will turn out to be Jack the Ripper in the book has not been introduced yet. He's not in this movie.
Well, I'm going to guess, based on what you said earlier, that it's the uncle guy, that guy
It
wasn't.
is, yeah. Spoiler alert, but yeah. Well, there could have been a whole other supporting cast with more characters than it could have been.
In 48 pages? And it also doesn't feel like... It also doesn't feel like... This doesn't feel like a mystery. Like, I don't feel like I'm trying to figure out who is Jack the Ripper. I don't feel like I've been given suspects.
Well, I mean, no, but Bruce is investigating, trying to figure it out.
But I don't expect it necessarily to be a reveal.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess maybe it won't be. I'm also a little surprised that we haven't had the flashback to Bruce's parents' murder yet.
Mm-hmm. It's weird because it's kind of refreshing, but it's also... It's a completely different universe, and it would be nice to know how it happened in this universe.
Yeah. No, that is very much worth doing when you have such a different setting.
Yeah, because it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, especially because you can do something creative with it. And we had the theater. So I'm assuming that's where it happened. Because they showed us the Monarch, but of course it's not a movie theater because we don't have movies yet. Alfred never has a card. This idea of having all three Robins as orphans running around with each other, I love that.
No, that's really fun.
And calling them the outside, everything about that is cool. Did we think of that because of We Are Robin?
I'm not sure. I like in the Batman Lovecraft thing, he's got the three of them as like...
Oh, there's precedent for things like this?
They're not running around as like street rats like that, but he's got all three of them in the Batman Lovecraft.
And they all know each other?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. They all go with him on like an expedition. And they're all like young men that he's gathered. I forget exactly what their backstory is.
I know her voice. I don't know right away who it is, but...
Felt so too.
It's also cool that we've already killed off a character we've heard of.
Yeah.
Two. I'm with you, though. I don't know. Oh, yeah, because we killed off Pamela Isley. Like I said, I was kind of worried that a lot of this would just be like a who's who, like a laundry list of characters, and just look, we have these, characters here, but we're not doing anything with them. They made them a real honest-to-God supporting cast. And we're making them all serviceable to the plot. So since we're just going to have, I would assume, just one of these. But since it's not, an ongoing Batman continuity, we can kill off whoever we want to. We can use them in any...
I love those.
Yeah, those are horrifying.
They have one in...
this is really creepy.
Dracula. Why did we ever think that was a good idea? Well, you're crazy. Let's just put a cage on your head.
No, the way we deal with mental health during this period is really, really sad. And super scary. I mean, overall in mass, just asylums
absolutely.
And things. I'm not saying there wasn't some progression in the, science and psychology and philosophy and stuff.
My book about masks is metaphorical.
I was gonna go there! The masks we wear. You even did the voice. When Hugo Strange's money.
Okay, that's... So he says I'm not a streetwalker.
Yeah.
There is no pattern because he kills a woman who's a dancer on her way home, and then he kills a nun? He's not actually killing prostitutes?
Well, here's the thing. Again, I think you're jumping the gun a little bit. Because talking over this, I'm not sure that we didn't miss something about established murders before all this is happening. And I don't know if... I don't know about Pamela, but the nun thing might be an anomaly. But, I mean, you're right, that is common knowledge. So I guess it's just awkward that he's kind of ignoring that when he says that, but... think it's funny that we're dealing with Jack the Ripper, and in the subtitles it said ripping. There was ripping happening. No, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm kind of agreeing with you. I'm not sure that we've established that as a
it's possible,
but I'm afraid we've missed something.
It's possible we missed it, but I don't think so. It seems like this is his first kill, or this is the beginning of Jack the Ripper. It's Jack the Ripper begins, if you will.
Jack begins.
You know, someone floated the idea. What if we do it? What if we do a movie about Jack the Ripper, but we do it like as an origin story?
I love blimps in Gotham.
Yeah.
I love that they went ahead and did a Zeppelin in this, because it's in the period they could do that. I hope somehow this is popular enough that they revisit the idea of making this a video game.
Yeah.
Because I really want to explore this Gotham.
Especially if they're done with the Arkham games.
And did you ever sit down and look at the footage that they made for that?
It was just him walking around, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it was gorgeous.
Yeah, no, it was.
It looked great. I was asking if you saw what it looked like. His coat billowing looks really cool. What I like about this Batman costume is it's hardly a costume.
Yeah, it's basically like a coat with a mask.
Yeah. He's got like cargo pants.
I kind of hope this isn't his mask the rest of the movie, since he just seemed to randomly pick it up to hide his identity right before he killed Hugo.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. Like, why does Jack the Ripper have to have a supervillain look? Especially because
he already has the shadow thing with the scar.
Yeah, that was fine. Just hang on to that. Now, if he's using like a bunch of different masks, I guess that could be kind of cool, but...
Wait, now no one's flying the Zeppelin. It's going to be a really slow but still dangerous flight path.
So, one of the major elements of the book, of course, and the crux of the conflict, is not just the mystery of who Jack the Ripper is, but the fact that Batman is framed for being Jack the Ripper, and we're a good ways into this, and that hasn't happened yet.
Are we a good ways in?
We've got to be at least 20 or 30 minutes in.
Yeah, I guess.
Did you think that would be like your first act plot point?
Yeah.
If you're going to go there.
Great.
This looks great. I love stuff like this where it's such a loose adaptation, but it's got... but it's nailing the spirit of the original, so I can be like completely surprised and totally immersed. I have no idea what's going to happen. I really didn't want this to be too much just the book. Like, I'm really excited about the things that they've... Well, I almost said the things they've changed. It's a totally different story. They looked at this like a proof of concept, and then they went and told a story.
That's a Zeppelin. I know the Hindenburg hasn't happened yet, but that's not... There you go.
Yeah, so, how many people are you guys gonna get killed on the ground? Was that Bullock? Bullock, you idiot. Was that Bullock?
I think it was Bullock.
Well, they got really lucky there that it's just landing in a clearing. So, this is Bruce Timm we're talking about. And I know he just produced this. He wasn't directing it, but I'm sure he helped out with storyboards and things. I would assume that he was involved. Even in the 1900s, he's got to have a massive explosion. Or the 1800s. Even in the 19th century, he's got to have a massive explosion. He's going to be gone. Yeah, he's gone. And he's gone. Gone. You should be fired.
Yeah, what are we chasing him for? What do you mean, there he is? You did this!
Yeah, is this what's going to lead them to think that he's Jack the Ripper? Surely not.
It seems like it.
In the book, it's planted evidence. Jack the Ripper himself frames Batman. Or frames Bruce Wayne.
Well, the old woman accused Bruce Wayne.
Okay. And there's this really cool bit, I think it's really cool, where there's a conversation with Alfred or someone where Bruce is, somebody suggests that I think it's Alfred, suggests that he just come out and tell everyone that he's Batman. It's like, well, no, I'm not Jack the Ripper. I've been to do this other thing with my Knights because he doesn't have an alibi. And he's like, well, that would be tantamount to just saying I did it. Because I'm already this vigilante on the streets that people don't trust and think is a nuisance. And so, they're liable to just say, oh, of course, they're the same person. You know, that Jack the Ripper and Batman are the same person. So he can't do that.
Well, this is like Master Phantasm. I bet you Catwoman shows up and helps him get away.
Yeah, I had a similar thought. But he didn't do the thing with the plank of wood with the cape on it?
That's true.
See the detail on the steps?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Nailed
the
it.
exact scene from Phantasm.
Nailed it. It is! But I don't care because that's fun. Because it's with a carriage and...
Yep.
You know, because it is some of the same people making this, but I don't feel like they're ripping themselves off. I feel like they're kind of riffing on themselves, going to this other period. I love that, actually. That's really cool. Oh, okay, so she just now knows that he's Batman.
Yep. That's John DiMaggio. John DiMaggio is Bullock, which makes so much sense. I don't know why we didn't put him in that role earlier. Oh.
That was smart. That was a good idea. Oh, we will. I wonder what flavor of jelly goes best with the toast of Gotham, Eric.
So, a couple of days ago, we were watching something on YouTube.
Do you remember the Bruce Catwoman carriage ride in 60s Batman? Yep. I was reminded of that. Sorry, go ahead.
A couple of days ago, we watched something on YouTube, and it was like, next video.
We found some evidence.
Gotham by Gaslight, Bruce Selena loves.
Oh, yeah, we're like, well, we ruined that.
Well, we know that happens, but it is ours, so, like, I really don't know why this is R-rated.
No, I mean, they didn't go too far with that at all. And that wasn't even a love scene. They were pretending.
Yeah, that's...
I mean, maybe that wasn't the scene. Maybe there's actually, like, a full-on, like, make-out scene or something.
But that felt like that was probably the scene.
Eric, I'm so into this. Like... That was cool.
Oh,
because she sort of did the purr thing, but not really, like... That was real seductive, yeah? That's so Catwoman. That's a cool backstory. I mean, to give her Catwoman skills.
Mm-hmm.
And we gave her the circus instead of Robin, which is... I mean, he might still have that. He's just on the street. We don't actually know where he came from.
Yeah, any of them.
And this is another thing we did with Telltale, where we have her know real early. I'm not saying they're getting all this stuff from that. I just think it's interesting that there might be something in the air right now with reinventing Batman with some of the things that we go, well, we haven't done this much, or we've never done this before. Is this where the flashback happens?
Yeah.
Is this where we flash back to his parents' murder?
If Harvey walks in and sees them together and gets real jealous, we'll know they played Telltale.
No, they were going back to Telltale.
Harvey.
Are you surprised, and I guess he could show up later, but are you surprised Penguin's not in this?
Yeah.
So Bullock, yeah. So they are doing that. So he is getting framed. So what was I going to say? So Bullock is a perfect blend of Bullock and Chief O'Hara.
Yeah.
That's what he is in this. So I'm okay with him taking down the blimp because he's supposed to be an idiot if he's partially Chief O'Hara. See. So she's gonna break him out, right? And he says, of course I know you're not. Wow! Okay, that's way different.
That's his acting.
Unless he's acting. But he also doesn't know that Bruce is Batman, and he's got his whole Playboy act. Look at the cobblestone. This is in the book. This is the first time I've said that, which is amazing. In the book, he's writing about this, and he says, I thought Harvey was my friend.
And this is Harvey's only scene in the book?
Yeah. Yeah, he has like 2 lines of dialogue. Because they skirt over this real fast. A lot of stuff isn't fully dramatized in scenes. We use journal entries to kind of move through this stuff. Blackgate.
That's probably a way bigger problem back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, if you make bail, like, you can just disappear and no one will ever find you. Like, they're not wrong. Like, Bruce Wayne could disappear with how much money
easily,
he has.
Yeah. And resources and all the people.
Yeah, like, you have to work at it now. Like, back in the day.
I wonder if any of the bad guys in Blackgate will, like, be people.
I imagine we'll get some.
We usually do that.
Well, that's nice.
Okay, I'm going to make a potentially really stupid point. This will sound really ignorant if I'm wrong. Would we have put it in that exact term in the 1800s?
I don't think
progressive.
So. I'm not sure.
Would we have said it like that? This place is real progressive.
But a lot of this dialogue has been heightened as opposed to period accurate, I think.
I think some of it's been real period accurate, and you're right, some of it's a little bit more modern. When I said way more toward the beginning that it was pretty period accurate, I think from at least what I had seen at that point, that was true. But so one of his mentors was Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
But see, that's cool. I kind of like putting this in the same universe as Sherlock Holmes because, I mean, it's at least consistent because we've already put Sherlock Holmes stuff in this.
Well, that would also make sense for, like, obviously, if Sherlock Holmes goes, Batman would train under him for detective skills.
I want this universe to have that and the Shadow.
Yeah. Well, and Batman's met Sherlock Holmes a number of times. Even Brave and the Bold, I'm pretty sure, is an episode where he
Oh, yeah, good call. She's great. Like, I love how proactive she is. That is just a standard Batarang.
Yeah.
Like, that's a real, like, kind of Arkham-looking Batarang? Well, I mean, not Arkham.
But no, it's a real class Batarang.
It's a modern Batarang, though. Is he playing Hangman? Bruce, why are you playing Hangman? So the somewhat stiffness of Greenwood's dialogue in this is working for this way better than it has in other things.
I mean, I like him in Red Hood. Okay,
you know
so
what? You're right.
Somebody, right.
You're right. I wasn't thinking of Greenwood. I was thinking of RoboCop.
Oh,
that's what it is. No, I've always liked Greenwood whenever he's been. It's just, his performance in this is a little bit different, and like I think he's reeling it in some intentionally for this material. I mean, it's really right for this.
It's also been like 8 years.
No, he was Batman in Young Justice also.
Oh yes, he is.
And so I'm sure they'll bring him back for that.
Cyrus Gold, is that Black Mask?
No, because Black Mask is Sionis.
You're right. Who's Cyrus Gold?
Nah, it's somebody. I can't think of it right off. Tell me if anybody else shows up.
Yeah, that's the only one that was named, and everybody else just looks kind of like old-fashioned men.
Were you expecting Zaz like right away, like I was? Just right away?
No, because if Zaz is
no, Cyrus, that's what I thought. I should have just said it. It's Solomon Grundy.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
We were both real trepidatious there. We should be more proactive. We've already said stupid stuff. We should just say stupid stuff.
But, no, they can't have Zaz here.
We'll come back later if I'm wrong. Why not? Because he's too close to Jack the Ripper?
Jack the Ripper is not a big deal when Zaz is alright. It's like, oh, it's another crazy person.
That's fair.
At least this guy's not marking himself.
Well, I mean, Gotham already has nut jobs in the book. Like, the idea is Jack the Ripper is, like, visiting a place that already has people like Jack the Ripper.
Oh.
This might be an unfair nitpick. With this material, I don't know how I feel about the standard, like, zoom out in the middle of a slap thing. That doesn't feel like it fits this real well.
Is it just because we use a bunch of different words for prostitute? Is that why this is rated R?
It's like if you have 6 different synonyms for that word.
Yep. This really feels like slightly more than DCAU. Like, this doesn't feel even to the level of, like, Under the Red Hood. Like, maybe it goes nuts in the third act.
With the R-rated thing? Yeah. When we introduced the Robins at the beginning, I wasn't sure that wouldn't be just a cameo. I thought this could be a subplot.
Yeah.
That is where we're going. I love that. Bone box. That's great. Batman's gonna make all 3 of them Robin at the same time.
But Jason will still die. Jack the Ripper will kill him. And he'll stay dead.
And then you'll still have people who will be like, no, don't kill me, I'm not a prostitute. And then you're like, you kill every kind of person there is.
You know too much about what inspired this film.
It's like the problem... Yeah, that can be an issue sometimes, right? When you're too informed by what came before. But it's like when the Borg assimilate individuals whenever we're told over and over again before that they only assimilate whole cultures? So I'm gonna go back on something I said earlier. If she was a lion tamer and stuff, yeah, she maybe didn't need Batman's help in that alley.
Well, we still don't know who Jack the Ripper is.
And after that scene, I wasn't like completely sure that what Batman did was actually necessary.
She was getting choked.
Yeah, she still could have taken him, maybe.
With her own whip.
She would have tripped him. It would have been all right. I forgot she was being choked. This is the first time I'm seeing this. That was a little melodramatic. He's the best man in a horrible city.
Is it Gordon?
No, I mean, it looks like he's just got research and stuff. Or maybe it is gonna... This is weird. I'm not sure what we're supposed to get from this so far.
That'll be a twist.
This is nuts! And she's in on it. This is like Harvey and Gilda in Long Halloween if the ending is what we think it is. This is crazy, dude. And by the way, Batman getting framed is like most of the story in Gaslight, or is like the big chunk of the middle of it. It was a footnote in this. We're already past that.
Oh.
This is horrifying. Good lord. Barbara Gordon can never be Batgirl in this universe.
Well, that's his wife, Barbara.
No, I know that.
Oh.
But that would be weird, right?
Yeah.
Well, that would be a really interesting backstory. I wanted to make up for my dad's horrible deeds being Jack the Ripper, so I became Batgirl. Now, some people see this kind of thing as, like, no matter what the context is or what the kind of universe is, like, just inherently distasteful and against the spirit of the original character. Like, Gordon is supposed to be a good guy, and so...
Right, but we didn't have a problem with, again, in Telltale with Vicky Vale.
No, but what I was going to say with Telltale is I did hear people complain about that with Bruce's parents. Where they're like, no, you can't do that to Bruce Wayne's parents.
I don't have... As long as it's not main continuity.
Yeah, I don't have that either. We just made him a different character in this.
7% Solution is a famous Sherlock Holmes novel written by somebody
Interesting.
famous in the 70s.
I can't believe how much...
I don't know if that's a reference, because he said 7%.
It probably 7% is.
Solution.
He led with it.
Yeah.
That is still dialogue you could have had in PG-13.
Yep. Yeah, there's been no F-bombs, not a lot
No,
of
and I'm
any
really
kind
glad
of
we didn't
profanity.
do that with this material.
Well, but, like, I don't know what's making it hard.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like, I'm not saying I want that, but, like I'd be like, oh, well, there's a lot of cursing. That's why it's hard.
I know we've been spending a lot of time with that. He's got a motorcycle.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
The real early motorcycle.
Oh, you know what? It's like a train car, isn't it?
Yeah. Does it run on steam, or... Is my steam train gag for the beginning gonna actually be more relevant than we expected? And she's gonna make a bat symbol. Well, we expected that to somehow be a bat symbol.
No, but I didn't expect it like that. Where she writes it with, I think, her blood?
I don't think it was her blood. I'm not sure how she did it, but it looked black to me.
Who could tell? If it was R, we'd know for sure. Because if it was black...
Batman looks Batman looks up at the sky and he goes, "That's a mob boss." So he put a mob boss up there. So this is not this book at all. It's a totally different thing.
I have a weird off-topic question. I'm surprised it didn't come up at all in Batmania. When you were a kid,
adaptation. Yeah, sure.
I always thought the bat signal was showing Batman where he had to go, where the crimes were.
Oh, interesting.
Like they shined it over where he had to go.
I never thought of that.
That's what I always thought when I was a kid. See, this as well with the murders he's actually committed.
I don't think so either. No, that's the one big complaint I've got about this story.
Because why would he kill Leslie
I was reserving it.
Is it because she takes them in and heals them? I don't know. That seems like a little bit of a stretch.
Well, he thinks he's doing God's work, and if he thinks she's against that, being a nun...
Sure. What about Hugo Strange?
I'm really surprised we haven't even referenced the Joker in this.
Well, doing the story about prostitutes, I'm surprised we don't have a Harley stand-in.
Yeah.
Or at least a reference or something.
I kind of expected that, too. It's sort of refreshing that they didn't feel the need to go there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have immediately been against it. I'm just saying I'm kind of surprised they didn't do it. I mean, even the book has a reference to the Joker.
Oh. Oh, that's a thing.
Yeah.
I know someone whose parents said that like left-handed was evil and they would not let them use their left hand, so they're just bad with both hands now.
That was a thing during this period. This is
but I like the idea of using his left hand for the Jack the Ripper stuff.
Mm-hmm. So as not to implicate himself.
Yeah.
No, you're not Bruce. You're Selena. Are you that delirious? You don't even know you.
But I'm also going to guess that the nun thing might have something to do with Leslie Tompkins. Like that one might have been motivated by revenge. I'm not sure.
So isn't it really interesting that this being the last thing we're doing in Batmania, it's the earliest setting in history? This is a thing we've never done.
Yeah.
Like, Gordon being the big bad, I don't think we've ever done that.
I don't think so, and if we have, it's in some obscure Elseworld story. Something really
obscure, yeah. Not this Elseworld story.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the kind of place to do a thing like that.
No, it's absolutely the place to do something like that.
Because it's the last person you would expect.
Yeah.
The thing you have to be careful of is if every story,
yeah,
it's just someone that you know, but you never think it was them, you'd always go to that. So
Catwoman, at least thus far, has never worn the outfit she's wearing on the cover of this DVD.
Mm-mm. But it just occurred to me a minute ago, she's had a purple dress on the whole time, and I didn't think of that.
That's fair.
She's had a couple different get-ups, but I think she sort of had this, but like the hat wasn't.
And she's worn like basically nothing.
I don't know. Yeah. And she didn't have the brooch, I don't think. But maybe she did and I missed it. I don't know. Get him! Yeah, I'll be curious to know if there's anybody that was really upset that we did this to Gordon.
Yeah, I don't know why you would care. It's not just its own continuity. It's also an alternate history.
Sure.
Like it doesn't. Like I would only care for the fact that things moving forward. Or maybe public perception. Like, if 89 did this, I'd be like, come on, guys. Like, this is everybody's first, real first
introduction. Yeah, this is going to be no one's introduction to Batman.
Yeah.
I wouldn't figure. Wow. So he just hates women.
Yeah. Yep. Then I wouldn't have done the Hugo Strange thing. I would have had it be another female kill. It seems weird. Like, maybe it makes sense when I rewatch it, but it feels weird with this initial viewing.
I like that this is like an anti-progress thing. He said World of Tomorrow, and immediately I was like, dun 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 dun, the future! See, this has had so many references that have gotten us to go back to a bunch of different things we covered on Batmania. It's a really cool thing to end on, it turns out. We love to pretend like we did that on purpose, but we hadn't even seen this before.
No, when we originally started, it would have ended with Batman Harley Quinn.
Way easier to chat over than I expected, though. And I think a lot of that's because it's not as dialogue-driven as I thought it might be. There is a lot of dialogue, don't get me wrong, and it's not... When I say dialogue, I just mean there's not a whole lot of dialogue. Like, it's not just an action thing. Is that why it's dark? Because he's burning alive? Is that why?
It wasn't that bad.
Is it just...
I feel like things like that happen in Batman the Animated Series.
Is it just the common... I don't think a person burning alive... Is it just like... Just compiling thing on top of thing? I don't see it.
No. Like... I thought it was reaching with Killing Joke. Killing Joke makes way more sense than
You're often critical of Fire. How do you feel about this Fire?
This Fire looks okay. You know what? It doesn't look great. It's not great. It's not great. But my Fire is not an animation Fire. It's the live action.
No, I know, but I wanted to ask you.
But it doesn't look great. I'm just saying.
So I feel a little bit silly questioning this before this movie came out now, because this is, like I said, obviously a totally different story, or at least a mostly different story. But I was kind of like, did we need to throw Catwoman into this story? She's just on a first watch one of the best things about this, I think.
I don't know if the Robins need to be here. I don't know what they.
No, but that's just
story.
fun.
I know.
It's because Batman's supposed to save the children, I guess. Although this isn't a story about that, so I don't know. And we did not get a flashback of his parents' murder. In fact, I don't think it ever even came up. Did it?
I didn't.
If it did, I didn't notice it.
How does that work? You can't just adopt people under my name. Look how angry he was. He's so annoyed.
He got triplets. That man got triplet Robins. Out of nowhere. So when we get to the end of this, are they going to tell us who's running the police department? Is Batman going to have a Gordon after this? Like, how does he work with the police department if he doesn't have a Gordon? Like, he just doesn't. And then, I mean, yeah, he would have to have some kind of stand-in. Is it going to be Harvey? One of the Harveys?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I guess it could be either Harvey. I'm really glad Harvey Dent wasn't Jack the Ripper, because that's just so obvious. That's the end?
That's the end. Ooh, I like the font. It's the font on the cover.
I like the font too. That's kind of...
Tara Strong was the old lady.
That's why I recognize it. I wondered if that's who it was.
I also did, but I didn't want to say all women sound the same. So, like, they all sound like Tara Strong.
So I sort of like how concise that ending is, and at the same time, I kind of wanted one more scene. I wanted to get a sense of what the status quo is after this.
Yeah, I'm also... there's something else I was just thinking about where I was like, well, I don't know if that makes... Also, look how quickly these credits are going.
That's really nice.
That's really nice.
And they're not just interrupting them with random images and things.
There was something else that was like, I don't know if that exactly adds up. But I can't think what it is now. Oh, why does Gordon stick up for Batman? When Bullock's going after him, and he's like, no, like, you have no evidence to prove that. Why wouldn't he just let that happen?
Yeah, because Batman's been fighting him when he's Jack the Ripper.
Again, these are all things that could make more sense on, or they could work a little bit better on a second.
But
viewing.
he.
I'm a little worried that the
wants
mystery
Bruce,
aspect doesn't exactly.
But of course, he's framing Bruce Wayne, so he wants that to happen. But why doesn't he want Batman?
Yeah.
To be in any kind of danger or trouble.
That seems weird to me.
No, I'm with you. I'm a little bit worried that this is that the overarching story ends up being a little bit flimsy. But I enjoyed it a lot.
No, it was a lot of fun.
There are some elements I feel like we could have done a little bit more with. I'm with you. I don't know if the Robins really needed to be there.
They should have done something at the end. Like, it just seems like they just keep showing up, and then Alfred adopts them for Bruce.
It would have been nice if we had...
And there's no conversation.
I mean, maybe we would have needed more scenes. We just didn't have the room for it. But it would have been nice to get more of a sense of each of their characters versus their comic book counterparts.
Mm.
But at the same time, I also liked that we could just introduce somebody like Pamela and not have to have her through the entire movie, and that you just be like, okay, we need... And some people might not like that we took a character people like and just made her a victim who gets killed at the beginning, but I like that everybody is somebody.
Yeah,
I mean, I like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I wish there were more people in Blackgate.
Me too.
Other than Solomon Grundy. Who doesn't look like Solomon Grundy? Like, that felt like...
Well, that's because he's not Solomon Grundy yet.
Yeah.
Like, Cyrus Gold never looks like Solomon Grundy before he's Solomon Grundy.
Okay, so the song is not performed by Jennifer Carpenter.
Okay.
So, she probably can't sing.
Or she can't sing like that.
I'm surprised she hasn't gotten more work after Dexter. I like
is that who that is? I didn't right away know who that was. No, I like her a lot. Well,
she's also Lois Lane in Superman Earth 1.
I was expecting good things from this and was not disappointed.
No, it's good.
So that's wonderful, and that was a really cool thing to end off on. And the two most recent things that we'd never seen before are both really good.
Yep.
And I showed my family the Scooby-Doo movie the other day, and they loved it.
Great.
And it was fun to go back and watch that without talking over it. But anyway, folks, thanks as always for watching. We sure appreciate it. This is the end of Batmania. That's it. We're done. And this was a lot of fun. I'm really glad that we did this with Batman. Like we did with Marvel, and what do you feel like, Eric? I like to at the end of one of these kind of stop for a minute and sort of assess our experience. Did you watching all these in kind of rapid succession like this? Did you learn anything? Did you have any kind of new experiences?
Not really, and I think part of that is maybe because it was over in such an expanded period of time that we watched them.
Over Marvel Mania, yeah.
Over Marvel Mania.
Yeah, we posted them daily, but this time we weren't able to record them daily, so we didn't quite have that. But it was still in pretty short success, you know what I mean? Like,
with Marvel Mania...
You've never watched 36 Batman movies within 4 or 6 months, and so that's...
With Marvel Mania, I feel like...
You saw history unfold.
There was a couple of films that like I had new experiences with, better or worse, and I don't know if I had that really with it. I don't know if there was any film where I was like, you know, I've never really cared for this, but maybe there is something here, or, yeah, I've always liked this, but maybe it's not as good as I thought. They're all basically what I think they are. Like, I had fun. I really had fun going back to some of the 90s stuff and the animated stuff and things like that.
Yeah, some of those animated movies that we haven't necessarily watched a whole lot.
Yeah.
It was a treat to go back to Dracula.
Yeah.
That was kind of a big deal to me to see that again, just to see how well it held up, because I'd only seen it the one time. With Marvel... Like I said, we kind of got to see history unfold, and there's a little bit of that with this, but I think some of
it all happened so quickly.
Yeah,
it's the Batman movies, and then it's the Nolan movies, and then like
because Marvel's over like 3 decades, and this is that, but so much of it is in 1 or 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think we're just more familiar with a lot more of this material.
Yeah, yeah.
But I guess it was an interesting experiment in that. Yeah, it didn't really change us that much, but then, but then I think we did notice a lot of really interesting, like references to things and ways in which certain movies maybe shaped other movies that we maybe hadn't necessarily mentioned before or noticed before. There was some of that happened, so that was cool, and it gave me an excuse to read some major books that I hadn't read before,
or go back to.
Yeah, or go back to. But I mean, like, well, I say major. Like, I never read The Cult before. I guess it's not a major book, but it is for the Nolans for some reason.
It also is just forgotten to the sands of time. It was a big deal in the 80s.
Sure, I guess it's just not now. But anyway, well, once again, folks, we sure appreciate it. And if you trucked through all 36 of them with us, you're amazing. Thanks so much for doing that. That's super cool. And feel free to brag about that in the comments. If you watched all 36 of these with us, tell us in the comments. We'd love to know that. And let us know what you thought of Gotham by Gaslight. and I'm kind of itching to watch this again without talking over it, and I will make sure to do that before the next Omnibus and talk about that on the Omnibus. And in the meantime, I am Captain Logan.
I'm Eric.
And stay tuned after the credits for the big reveal for next year. Eric, thanks for doing it, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, it's time for the big reveal. This is an unconventional notion. We're not going to do a thing that I think is probably on anybody's radar. Now, we have dropped little hints here and there, and I think they were probably subtle enough that nobody would have put it together by now. Mostly, I think the biggest hint of what this is lots of bad movies.
Yeah.
I have kind of dropped here and there. There will be, the big one was, there will be worse movies probably than Batman and Harley Quinn.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there is only one category in my mind that I would immediately go to for that. But the thing we're going to do is not superhero. It's not a thing that you would usually expect us to cover on this channel, which is part of why we wanted to do it, because it's going to be kind of
the variety.
The variety is going to be a new foray for us. And before I announce what it is, I also want to say that it's a thing where we're going to cherry pick a little bit more.
This will be the first one we're not doing all of them.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're cherry picking. We'll kind of explain why after you say what it is.
So this idea came from Eric first, and I have kind of helped like refine it a little bit, because there's some movies that I wanted to get in this that I think fit peripherally. We're going to do video game movies.
Yeah,
that's the plan. This was Eric's idea. I was really surprised. How did you come up with that? Like, why did you think of it?
I don't know. I was looking at something.
Because we were kicking around a couple of ideas, and we've been talking about maybe doing a TV
I was talking
show.
to CJ about Street Fighter.
I was
like, oh, we should do a commentary on Street Fighter the movie, and I was like, oh, well, that should be our next thing, and that'll get me to be able to do Street Fighter. Because I don't know if you've ever actually seen the live action Street Fighter.
I did in the theater when it came out. And
I enjoyed that film.
It's been
so bad.
Forever.
I love it so much.
And I also had Street Fighter the movie, the game on the Sega Saturn.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, this is really bad.
So what we're doing?
Those weird, like, separated from the background sprites that had like sort of real people faces on them, and it was really awkward.
So what we're doing that's going to be a little bit different is we're not doing all of it, and we're also bringing in things that don't necessarily count. It's our list. We will make a master list. Everyone will know everything we're doing.
Yeah.
Don't complain that we're not doing things or we should do other things. It's our list.
Because a lot of this stuff will be things people don't own.
Yes.
And so we'll let you know real far ahead of time.
Yeah. So the big thing is when we looked at it, there's a bunch of Uwe Boll movies because all of his technically got theatrical release. We will do some of those. We will not do all of those.
And I don't know which ones.
We said we're for sure doing House of the Dead.
Which everyone tells me don't watch, but I have to see it.
Which is why we're going to do it.
That's why we're going to do it. And I love House of the Dead. That lets me talk about House of the Dead.
We're going to do Blood Rain because I own it.
Okay.
And we should do Alone in the Dark because that's the first big one where like I think people like really notice where they're like, oh, this guy makes really bad movies. After that, I don't think we'll do it. We're not doing Postal. That was the big one where I was like, no, we have to take some out because I won't sit through Postal again, and you shouldn't have to.
But those are pretty much the only ones we're going to excise, I think. I mean, I think the rest of it we'll go ahead and do it. That's going to get redundant because some of the other were kind of
he's made so many of
the same bad.
Because like he's probably made movies you've never like. Did you like he's made 3 like I think it's called Dungeon Siege. He's made 3 like medieval fantasy movies that are technically based on a video game.
Does he make like 6 crappy video game movies a year? Is that what he does?
Yeah, he made 3 Blood Rain movies.
That's insane.
But yeah,
we are gonna do all of the Resident Evil movies.
Yes,
because Eric really wants to do.
I want to do all of them.
He talked about doing that at one point. Now, I think that it's going to be interesting to see how well this series does because video games aren't really a big thing for the channel.
But people love anyone talking about bad movies,
subjecting themselves to bad movies.
Yeah,
which is part of why we came up with this idea. And
it would be something different.
Yeah, and it's the first and hopefully probably only Mania where we're gonna do mostly a bunch of really bad movies. But there's gonna be some good stuff sprinkled in there, and we're not gonna just do things. And this is part of why we're not gonna do all of them. We're not gonna just do things based on video games. We're gonna sprinkle in a few things that are about video games, but not based on one.
So we're gonna do Tron.
We're gonna do Tron. We're gonna do The Wizard.
Which I haven't seen since I was a kid.
I haven't either.
I saw way back in the day Nostalgia Critic and Angry Video Game Nerd's reviews of them because I was holding.
Yeah, I saw that with AVGN too.
So like that's my most recent memory
clips,
of and Power Glove. It's so bad.
It's so bad.
The internet doesn't let that die. So like I'm never gonna forget that. We'll do Scott Pilgrim.
Yes.
There could be one or two other things that get added.
Pixels just to scream at it.
Wreck-It Ralph. We're doing
Wreck-It Ralph. We're definitely doing.
You're doing Ralph.
The sequel will probably be on video by the time we do this. Yeah, I guess it will. I
guess
it will have. Yeah, because it comes out this year.
But does it come out? Is it the November release? Because if it's November release, it won't be out by the time.
We'll check. I'm not sure. Okay, so that might not be out yet. But so anyway,
I'm not excited for the sequel at all.
Are you not?
Do you know what the premise is?
Yeah, it's the internet thing.
How is it not MMOs?
Because you want it to stay in video game territory.
Yeah. What's the point of making a Wreck-It Ralph sequel if you're not going to be...
I guess we'll see what they do with it.
Like, if you want to do the internet, just do MMOs. I like it. But yeah, so we're not telling you everything because we don't exactly have a list yet, but when we officially have a list, people will see it and they'll get an idea of exactly what it is and how many
And there will be a couple of things that are coming out this year that will already be out by then.
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider we'll be able to do, and
we'll do all three Tomb Raiders.
Rampage.
And Rampage.
Yeah.
I've never seen the second Tomb Raider.
And I loved the Jumanji sequel. I'm going to put that on the list.
Okay, because
that's about video games.
It's a video game.
Yep. Yeah. Or it is a video game. Yeah, so I hope some folks will be excited about this. I totally understand that this is a letdown for some people that are really hoping for another superhero thing. I know there's some people that are wanting us to do one on DC movies that aren't Batman.
And there's just not enough of them.
I don't think there's enough of them, and I don't know how interesting that ultimately would be. There's people that are wanting us to do a Superman thing. I don't think there's enough of that.
And there's not enough good. We'll talk about 2 good movies.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I felt the need to sprinkle in some other things with the video game one.
Yeah.
Because otherwise that would have also been like that.
Yeah, but so many of those are like funny bad. Superman's not funny. Well, I mean, I guess maybe
3 and 4 are kind of fun to riff on, but I totally get what you're saying.
I don't want to watch the Superman Returns.
Yeah, and I've done commentaries on all of those. I mean, there was a lot of stuff in Marvel Mania that we had done commentaries on before too. But this will be fun because it will be stuff that we've had. 99% of them we will have never done a commentary on. The only one I can
maybe you've never mentioned on the channel.
Yeah, I mean a lot of that will not have ever been mentioned on the channel. The only one I can think of right now that there's definitely commentary on is the Super Mario Brothers movie, and that's just because I did a rewind on it.
I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to do more combat.
Yeah.
We'll finally watch Assassin's Creed, which if no one knows, we intended to see, walked into the wrong theater.
Yep.
We went to the wrong theater, sat through all the trailers for this for like kids movies, and we're like, this isn't.
We can't be in the right
They're
theater.
They're not selling to the right audience. Oh no, it's the wrong movie. And then we were like, well, do you actually care enough to go to see Assassin's Creed?
Well,
I was like 30. Nah,
that's not what we did. We even walked into the theater where it was playing, and it was already like 5 minutes in.
Yes, that was it.
And we were like,
that was it.
You know what? I think we're just not going to do it. So we went and got our money back when we went home.
Yep.
So,
but now we will see it.
Let us.
That was Passengers.
That was Passengers, which we were 2 of the only people on the planet that liked that movie.
Yep.
But anyway, let us know what you think of this idea. Although, should we ask people to try not to spoil it in the comments? Since we asked people to
no, because we said we were going to ask people to come up to help come up with a name for it.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Okay. So people want. I don't know why we put this at the end of the credits. I guess just because we did that with Marvel.
Yeah.
We did that with Marvel, so I'm just being consistent. So if you think that was weird, it is. I was just being consistent. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. We sure appreciate it. This was a lot of fun for us. We're going to be getting back to regular content now on the channel, and we've got Batmania. Or, excuse me, we just finished Batmania. We've got Batcap, the 48-hour Halloween, starting for you tomorrow. So look forward to that. And in the meantime, I am Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
See you, folks.